What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's undisputed clash at heavyweight between Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois.
Oh, what a scene, what an atmosphere. We're about to go. Daniel Dubois' big moment has arrived. Yep, this is it now for Daniel Dubois. Got to start quick, Fletch.
Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you also like this video and go down to the bottom of your screen right now, find the bell notification button, hit that so you never miss a video. Also, guys, I want to announce some new news for the channel. You can become a Johnny Says Boxing Insider for a couple bucks a month. What this will allow you to do is have access to some of the best betting in the game, insider information on prop bets, parlays, moneyline bets, method of victories. Not only will you have access to that, you'll also be helping myself out and the channel continuously to grow. So if you've already become a Johnny Says Boxing Insider, I want to say thank you so much for that, and let's continue to grow together. All right, guys, we have another massive week of boxing. It actually starts, the action does, tomorrow night here in Sydney. I'll actually be going to that fight headline between Paul Gallen and Sonny Bill Williams. If you haven't seen my breakdown, analysis, and prediction of that fight, it's linked in this video, so have a look at that one as well. But right now, we're going back to the UK to see a rematch at heavyweight with all the belts on the line. Of course, I'm talking about Alexander Usyk taking on Daniel Dubois. We saw this fight already a couple years ago, and since the first fight, both men have continued on in their winning ways. We've seen Usyk go on to fight Tyson Fury 2 times and beat him by decisions both times, and Dubois in the first match got stopped against Usyk, but since then he's 3-0 with 3 stoppage victories, most notably the biggest win of his career, stopping Anthony Joshua. Daniel Dubois is a guy that has had ups and downs in his early career. He's only 27, but when you're as big as he is, when you have that much natural power, people have high hopes for you. He had a bit of a head scratcher against Joe Joyce, and then in his first time out against Usyk, that fight had some controversy in it as well. We know about the low blow, or depending on what side of the camp you stand on, the knockdown that never was. We know what happened, ultimately how that fight ended. Usyk stopped Dubois, and with Usyk, the southpaw has created quite the legendary career in multiple weight classes. Like I said, he's undefeated. He's a smooth operator. He could box your socks off if you let him do it, and he has a really high ring IQ. So in this video, getting ready for the rematch, what we're going to do is go over both fighters' careers. We're going to talk a little bit about how they go about their business, and stay tuned to the end of the video. Like always, I'll be going over the current Las Vegas odds, and I'll be telling you where to put your money. At 27 years old, Daniel Dubois still has the entire world in front of him in terms of the sport of boxing. We know since that loss against Usyk, he has become the IBF world champion. He fought for the vacant strap that was taken from Usyk against Hrgovic, and he stopped Hrgovic to become the IBF champion. Usyk has been doing what he always does, and that is win. He's won a couple decisions against Fury since he last fought Dubois, and he has all the belts except that IBF. Thus, the undisputed is on the line. Right now, I do want to remind everybody what's at stake this weekend at Wembley. Guys, the undisputed fight between Usyk and Dubois is set for Wembley Stadium, July 19th. This will be on DAZN worldwide. A new undisputed heavyweight champion of the world will be crowned on Saturday, July 19th at Wembley Stadium, the home of English football, where unified WBC, WBO, and WBA world champion Alexander Usyk and IBF world champion Daniel Dubois will fight for all the belts in a historic event on UK soil, broadcasted live on DAZN worldwide and promoted by Hall of Fame promoter Frank Warren for Queensberry and Ready to Fight. If Alexander Usyk proves successful in overcoming Daniel Dubois for a second time at Wembley Stadium on the 19th, he will become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world for a second time, following on from his original triumph over Tyson Fury in May of 2024. The Ukrainian hero relinquished the IBF portion of his title status following his Fury victory, and the title was awarded to Dubois in the wake of his interim title win over Filip Hrgović. Dubois proceeding to reinforce his world champion credentials with a thumping destruction of former two-time unified world champion Anthony Joshua. Putting the belts back together would see Usyk become a two-time undisputed champion, which was only previously accomplished by Muhammad Ali in the WBA WBC two-belt era that commenced in 1963. Should Dubois prevail, he would become Britain's first undisputed king since Lennox Lewis back in 1999 in the three-belt era of the WBA, WBC, IBF, and the first in these current four-belt times, which includes the WBO. Guys, going into this matchup, it has a lot of intrigue on it regarding an outcome, meaning that Usyk at 38 years old, Dubois at 27 years old, we are seeing a Dubois, in my opinion, mature right in front of our eyes. Things could have gone, career speaking, the other way for Dubois after that Usyk loss. People weren't high on Dubois considering how he lost to Joe Joyce, and then a few fights later he gets stopped again against Usyk, and you wouldn't have been wrong if you would have been part of the group to say maybe we were wrong about Daniel Dubois. People were doubting him, and what did he do? In my opinion, like all champions do, he picked himself up off of the canvas, literally and metaphorically, got back on the winning track, and he's done it very impressively. 3-0, 3 stoppages. You see a guy who's super confident. You see a big 6'5", 27-year-old coming into his own. He's walking differently. He has an aura about him. The only question is, going into Saturday night, does he truly believe in himself in being able to dethrone Alexander Usyk? Usyk is a consummate professional, consistent, flashy, technical. He knows how to win rounds. He knows how to maneuver through a ring. He knows how to overcome adversity, and he knows how to put it on you. That style Usyk has can be quite frustrating for an opponent. He does a lot of movements. He changes levels a lot. He moves his lead hand a lot. He goes up and down. He throws his hooks from different angles. It could be a lot for an opponent just optically to deal with, not to mention what he's doing physically to you. Moving at angles, being slick. Not a lot of heavyweights historically have gone about their business like Alexander Usyk. That's why so many people are quick to put him at the top of the list as one of the greatest to ever do it. Right now, I do want to take a closer look at Daniel Dubois and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Daniel Dubois is 22-2 with 21 knockouts. Out of 1,606 heavyweights in the world, he's ranked number 2. He's fought a total career of 95 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 95% career knockout to win ratio. He is the IBF World Heavyweight Champion. His adoring fans know him as Dynamite. And the 27-year-old Brit is a 6'5" Orthodox fighter with a 78-inch reach. He was born and raised and lives in Greenwich, London, United Kingdom. We last saw him fight AJ, 28-3, stopped him in the 5th. Filip Hrgović, 17-0, stopped him in the 8th. Jarrell Miller, 26-0, stopped him in the 10th. Usyk the first time, 20-0, he got stopped in the 9th. Kevin Lerena, 28-1, he stopped him in the 3rd. So it is that Usyk first fight that comes with controversy. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to the boxing game, go right now on YouTube and watch the first fight. Remind yourself or educate yourself on what happened. Dubois fans are going to tell you that that was a legal body rip. Usyk naysayers will say that Usyk doesn't like to get hit to the body, and the Dubois people feel that Dubois should have won by knockout, giving Usyk not only his first loss, but giving Dubois the victory. Usyk fans will tell you that the ref was spot on. They'll say that that punch was a low blow, and the ref was in the right to call a stop to the fight, give Usyk time to recover, and thus moving forward, this is why Usyk stopped Dubois in the later rounds, because as Usyk fans will say, he is just the better fighter. Right now, I do want to take a closer look at Alexander Usyk and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Usyk is 23-0 with 14 knockouts. Out of 1,606 heavyweights in the world, he's ranked number 1. He's fought a total career of 201 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 61% career knockout to win ratio. He is the IBO, WBC, WBO, WBA World Heavyweight Champion. The 38-year-old Ukrainian fighter is a 6'3" southpaw with a 78-inch reach. He was born in Simferopol, Crimea, Ukraine, but calls Oxnard, California, USA home. We last saw him fight Tyson Fury in the rematch, 34-1 UD in the 12th. Tyson Fury the first time, 34-0, won a split in the 12th. Dubois the first time, 19-1, stopped him in the 9th. AJ the second time, 24-2, won a split in the 12th. AJ the first time, 24-1, won a UD in the 12th. Look at Usyk's resume. Look at what he's done in both cruiserweight and in heavyweight. He's never been beaten. He's a smooth operator. There's so much to like about Alexander Usyk, both inside and outside of the ring. Ultra charismatic. He's adored by boxing fans internationally. When you look at how he goes about his business in the ring, like I said, he does a lot of feints. He does a lot of jabs. He's always moving. He's constantly giving you something to think about. He is the opposite of one-dimensional. So at the heavyweight division, these big boys are not used to seeing a guy moving like that, not used to having to make so many split-second decisions on the spot. So Usyk is a tough out for everyone. Thus, he's undefeated. When I look at these guys side by side, we know they fought once already. We know how it ended. Take it for what you will. Dubois did get stopped. We know what they've both been up to as of late. Usyk has beaten Fury twice. Dubois, in my opinion, is coming into his own. 98% career knockout to win ratio. 6'5", 27 years old. He is a nightmare. This version, in my opinion, is the best version of Daniel Dubois. But is it going to be enough to dethrone and be the first man ever to beat Alexander Usyk? Only time will tell. Guys, before we look at those Las Vegas odds and I give you my prediction, I want to remind everybody, I do live streams every single day. In those live streams, you'll be getting our weekly long parlays, our prop bets, over and unders, knockdown method of victories, and my locks of the week. But in these Stats Don't Lie videos, all you're going to get is my money line prediction. So remember, hit subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you never miss a live stream. All right, guys, wherever you are in the world, let's pull out our betting apps. The one I use down here in Sydney, Australia is called Sportsbet. And on the money line, Alexander Usyk is a $1.27 favorite, meaning you put 100 on him, you get your money back plus 27. The draw is 16-1. Dubois is a $4.20 underdog, meaning 100 on him, you get your money back plus 320 bucks. So Daniel Dubois is a little bit more than a 3-1 underdog. And guys, I have been wrestling back and forth all week on who I'm leaning on. Initially, a couple days ago, I was picking Dubois to win this fight. I just thought that his size, and I do think that his size, his power, his confidence, where he's at in his career, I think it's going to be and can be too much for Alexander Usyk. But will it be enough to beat Usyk? That movement he has, that ring IQ he has, the savviness, how he operates, it's still leaning me towards Alexander Usyk. So right now, on the money line, I am taking Alexander Usyk, the smooth Ukrainian southpaw, to do what he does best, and that's win. But guys, this is not an echo chamber. In the comment section below, I'm not going to be mad at you if you disagree with me, because I feel this is close to a 50-50 fight rather than a 3-1 dog fight. Let me know if you think it's going to be Usyk. Let me know if you think it's going to be Dubois. Also, what's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's world title fight at 154 pounds between the champion Sebastian Fundora and the challenger Tszyu.
You have to realize when Fundora takes one step, think of how much over the top and
Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you also like this video? Also, go down to the bottom of your screen, find the bell notification button, click that so you never miss a video. All right, fight fans, I also want to mention new features on the channel. We opened these up last week. Join our Johnny Says Boxing Insiders group. It's a couple bucks a month. What this will allow you to do is have access to our insider bets on our props, our parlays, our money line picks, and our method of victories. All things Boxing Insider VIP. You could find that link in the pinned comment below. All right, guys, another busy weekend of boxing. The fights actually start tonight in Sydney, Australia. I'll be going to those fights. Headlined with a domestic grudge match between two Australian rugby legends, Paul Gallen taking on Sonny Bill Williams. I already featured that fight on the channel. Go to my fight prediction playlist. I gave you my breakdown, analysis, and prediction right now in the comment section below. You Aussies, who wins this fight, Sonny Bill or Paul Gallen? We also went to the UK. We broke down the fights with the heavyweight world title undisputed on the line between Usyk and Dubois. That's a rematch. But also today on the channel, we're featuring another rematch, this time at 154, between the champion Seb Fundora and the challenger, the Aussie Tszyu. So in this video, we're going to be going over both fighters' careers. We're going to talk a little bit about how they go about their business. And like always, stay tuned to the end of the video. That's where I'll be going over the current Las Vegas odds. I'll also be giving you my prediction and telling you where to put your money. All right, guys, since this fight got announced, since it became official, I've been wrestling with the fact of who am I going to pick? Who do I see winning the rematch? I've been going back and forth. The odds, not necessarily a 50-50 fight. When I put the poll up on our channel, over 500 of you guys voted, and it's literally 51% Tim, 49% Fundora. I think that is a depiction of where the overall boxing minds landscape is going into fight night. When we look at the first fight, how it played out, it was marred in controversy. We know about the cut that happened in the end of the second round. We know about Tszyu's corner and their failure to accept a no contest stoppage, which would have allowed Tim to keep his belt, which would have had the fight come to a stall and probably rescheduled for a future date. But we know all of that did not happen. And the future of both fighters played out in very different fashion. We saw the fight go to the distance. We saw Fundora being awarded a split decision victory in that he took Tszyu's belt from him. He took Tszyu's O from him. He then went on to fight Cordell Booker. It's his only fight since that first Tszyu fight. We saw what happened to Tim. He went on after that fight to take on Bakram Murtazayev, a very tough champion, a guy that nobody has been calling out, and Tszyu got stopped early, got buzzed early, and since that fight, he got back on the winning track by fighting domestically against an American slugger, Joey Spencer, in which he stopped Spencer. So all in all, you guys are caught up. Those fights have led us into the weekend. We're going to see this once again. You could dissect the first matchup however you want. Some people are like, Tszyu was washing Seb up until the cut. Just watch the first 6 minutes. I don't think that was the case. I think both guys were giving equally as they were getting. The cut was unfortunate. I do want to mention though, after that fight, the commission suspended Fundora for having a broken nose. It's not like Seb got out of there unscathed. He had a couple small fractures in his navel cavity. When you look at Tszyu, the damage he took after he was wiped down and the cut, the massive gash was stitched, his suspension was clearly due to the healing process of the skull. So moving forward, I do want to remind everybody what's at stake this weekend in Las Vegas. All right, guys, this is a rematch born in blood. Tszyu versus Fundora 2 will take place in Las Vegas, July 20th, Australian time. WBC Super Welterweight World Champion Sebastian Fundora, the towering inferno and Australian superstar, former world champion Tszyu, will rematch in the co-main event after engaging in 2024's bloodiest fight. The winner will leave with the belt. The loser will leave with a lot of questions on where they move forward with their career. Guys, this is what makes it so interesting. When you look at a Tszyu matchup versus Fundora again, when you look at Tszyu with the potential of losing this fight, where does he go in his career? He's fought his entire career at 54. He's in his 30s now. Could we see, win or lose, Tszyu moving up to 160? We know about Fundora. We know everything that comes with a Seb Fundora fight. Everything that's talked about, his physical stature, his reach, his height. He's standing at nearly a 6'6" frame. Now, would we see him moving up to 160? When you look at the champions at 60, it is not the heaviest division, and that's being kind. We know that Shiraz just moved to 68. We know Adames is a champ at 60. We know Alam Hanalei is a champ at 60. And then you have Lara also holding belts. So it's not out of the question to say you can see either guy after this fight or a couple fights after moving to 160. Only time will tell. Business at hand is at 154. It's an intriguing matchup stylistically when each fighter is going to add to their arsenal. With Seb Fundora, you're going to expect a jab. You're going to expect him to exchange with the pocket. He could control distance if he wants to. He's a flat-footed fighter. He likes to mix it up in the pocket, get on his front foot, and force you to fight him. Tszyu, pretty much the same thing. Standing at 5'9", he's a pressure forward fighter. We saw him get stopped early against Murtazaev with this exact style, and it's one of those things in boxing, everybody was high on Tszyu until they weren't. Everybody loved this style until they didn't. And it's going to be interesting to see the adjustments, if any, he adds to his game. If you're watching him in training camp, if you're watching any of the videos with him hitting pads, you are seeing, if you could dissect the techniques, him doubling up the jab a lot, him throwing his lead hook off of the jab, which traditionally in his fights, he keeps it pretty basic, jab 1-2, jab, jab 2. So just from what I've seen, if you want to call that adjustments, I do expect to see a couple more lead hooks from Tszyu. We'll see if he moves his head. We'll see if that head gets off of the midline. But like I said, up until the Murtazaev fight, everything was working for Tszyu. And I also want to mention, he got stopped early against Murtazaev. It's not like an example of an Errol Spence Jr. getting beat up for 9 rounds and then getting stopped late against Bud. I was saying this on my live stream earlier. Even if Errol Spence Jr. in a different timeline never got into the car crash, never had the issues outside of the ring, even if he was 100% bill of health against Bud Crawford, and that fight played out exactly how it did, with EJ getting dropped multiple times, getting beat up for 9 total rounds, I would still tell EJ, if I was his coach, if I was in his corner, to take a year or so off. And this is exactly what he's done. I don't know what's going to happen in his career, but if you follow Spence's Instagram, he is training again. He looks like he's in the best shape he's been in a long time. But moving forward, my point is with Tszyu, that wasn't what happened against Murtazaev. He got caught early. He got buzzed early in the first round, and he got stopped. My only reason for saying this is the fact that he didn't have this long, brutal fight. People are speaking this narrative like he's damaged goods, he's shot, he got stopped against Murtazaev, he's done. I wouldn't be so quick to say that. Like I said, everything I've seen with his training camp, what he looks like, I posted a photo of him getting ready for the weight cut. It's the first time I've seen him have an 8-pack during fight week. He looks in exceptional shape. He's only 30 years old. I expect him to be at his best, and I expect Seb Fundora to be at his best, and it's going to make for an intriguing matchup in the rematch. Right now, let's take a look at the Aussie challenger and see what he's been up to in his career. All right, guys, Tszyu's 25-2 with 18 knockouts out of 2,259 fighters in the world at 154. He's ranked number 10. He's fought a career total of 148 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 72% career knockout to win ratio. His adoring fans know him as the Soul Taker, and the 30-year-old Aussie is a 5'8" orthodox fighter with a 70-inch reach. He was born in Sydney, Australia, New South Wales, and calls Rockdale, New South Wales, Australia home. We last saw him fight Joseph Spencer, 19-1, stopped him in the 4th. Murtazaev, 22-0, he got stopped in the 3rd. Fundora, the first time, 20-1, lost a split decision in the 12th. Mendoza, 22-2, won a UD in the 12th. Ocampo, 35-2, stopped him in the 1st. And guys, the fights before that, I was at the Tony Harrison fight when Tszyu put on a spectacular performance and stopped him. And the fight before that, he got tested against a former Olympian, a very tough pro, Terrell Gausha. He got dropped early and overcame that and went on to win that fight. So Tszyu is battle tested. Tszyu is a former world champion. Like I said in my lead up to this, I think you guys might be rushing a bit to call Tszyu washed. At 30 years old, this is the son of a boxing living legend. This is a former world champion. This is a guy who's super motivated to get his belt back. He already shared the ring for 12 rounds with Seb Fundora, and he lost a close split decision. He hurt Fundora. We know about the cut. We know about Fundora's broken bones in his nose. We know what happened with Tszyu against Murtazaev. What we don't know is what to expect come fight night. That's why I'm super excited and intrigued in this matchup. Right now, let's take a closer look at the champion and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Seb Fundora is 22-1 with 1 draw. He has 14 knockouts out of 2,259 fighters in the world at 154. He's ranked number 8. He's fought a career total of 132 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 64% career knockout to win ratio. He is the WBO World Super Welterweight Champion. His adoring fans know him as the Towering Inferno. The 27-year-old American southpaw stands at 6'5.5" with an 80-inch reach. He was born in West Palm Beach, Florida, but calls Coachella, California, USA home. We last saw him fight Cordell Booker, 23-1, stopped him in the 4th. Tszyu the first time, 24-0, won a split in the 12th. Brian Mendoza, 21-2, he got stopped in the 7th. Ocampo, 34-1, won a UD in the 12th. Erickson Lubin, 24-1, he stopped Lubin in the 9th. And guys, if you ask me, outside of the Tszyu victory, my favorite victory was his win over Erickson Lubin. I'm high on Erickson Lubin. They actually just announced Lubin and Murtazaev is this close from being made official. I really want to see those two fight. Seb Fundora is a guy who's going to enter the ring with a 10-inch reach advantage. We know about the height advantage. We know about the belt around his waist, the confidence he's taken into this fight. But if you guys want to do triangle theories, boxing maths, call it what you will, Seb got stopped against the guy that Tim beat, Brian Mendoza. Seb also took a guy the distance in Carlos Ocampo that Tszyu stopped in the first round. So call it what you will. We know they fought already. We know Fundora took the belt, but it was marred in controversy. I'm glad this fight's going down. I'm not one of these guys that's sitting back and just totally discounting Tszyu. Like I said, I think the loss against Murtazaev, it was brutal, but it wasn't as brutal as people were saying. He got buzzed early, which happens, and then he got stopped early. It wasn't like he got beat up the entire time. So keep that in mind. When I look at these guys side by side, you got to talk about the height. You got to talk about the reach. You got to talk about the first matchup. You could talk about the resumes. I think going into this fight, because they fought once the first time, I just throw out the Murtazaev loss. I got to be honest with you. I don't think that's going to come into play in this matchup. I think both guys are solely focused on what happened in that first fight. I don't think Seb Fundora is going to this fight confident that he stopped Cordell Booker, and I definitely don't think Tszyu's going into this fight thinking that just because he lost to Murtazaev or that he knocked out Joey Spencer that he's bringing anything added into this fight. I think this rematch, you could go into it as a fan looking at it as if it's happened right after the first fight. I don't want to call the stoppage loss to Murtazaev a fluke, but I'm not going to sit here and say that that is a testament that Tszyu is washed. When I'm thinking about my prediction, where I'm going with my money, remember guys, in these Stats Don't Lie videos, I'm only giving you my money line prediction, but I do live streams every day. In those live streams, I go over my method of victory bets, knockdown prop bets, over and unders, long parlays. So be sure to hit the bell notification and join our Boxing Insider group to stay up to date on all of those bets. All right, guys, wherever you are in the world, let's pull our betting apps out now and look at the money line odds. I'm down here in Sydney, Australia. The app that I use is called Sportsbet. And currently on the money line, the champion, Seb Fundora, is a $2.30 underdog, meaning you put 100 on Seb to win, you get your money back plus 130. The draw is 16-1. Tszyu is a $1.70 favorite, meaning you put 100 on Tim to win, you get your money back plus $70. Like I said, guys, I put the poll up on the channel. It's literally a coin flip with you guys going one or the other. My mind all month has been back and forth. Last week, if you would ask me, I had Fundora winning. I even said it on my live stream. But having sat with it for a while, having rewatched the Murtazaev loss, rewatched the first fight between Seb and Tim, watching Tim in fight camp, looking how he looks right now with his shirt peeled. I've never seen him in better shape. I'm leaning on Tszyu. I like Tszyu to get his get back. I like Tszyu to become a world champion again. I don't think he's going to be carrying in any lingering effects from the Murtazaev loss or even the cut against Seb Fundora. I think he's going to make some adjustments. I expect him to box a little bit wiser with his jab, change things up a bit, and I'm counting on him using his lead hook a bit more. Guys, this is not an echo chamber. You do not have to agree with me. At the end of the fight, are we going to hear "and still" for Seb or "and new" for Tszyu? What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's unified world title fight at 115 pounds between champion Bam Rodriguez and fellow champion Pumalele Cafu.
Rivera in 1 round. Gives an angle. There it is. Left hand scores it.
Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you also like this video? And right now, go down to the bottom of your screen, find the bell notification button, hit that so you never miss a video. Guys, I also want to mention on the channel, as of last week, we are offering Johnny Says Boxing Insiders memberships. It's a couple bucks a month. It really helps support the channel, but more importantly, you guys get insider information on parlays, over and unders, knockdown prop bets, along with other special features that only insiders get. That link is in the comment section below. All right, guys, it is almost the weekend. If you've been paying attention to the channel, we have visited the UK. We broke down the rematch with Usyk taking on Dubois at Wembley. We also covered the fights that took place last night at Sydney, Australia. I went to those fights headlined by Gallen versus Sunnyvale. Hopefully, you guys followed my betting advice because we hit huge once again. That's 17 fights in a row that I've hit in Australia. That's some home cooking, from the Sam Goodman versus Cesar Vaca card to this card last night. But moving forward, business at hand, we have one of my favorite things in boxing, a unified world title fight between two undefeated world champions. We have the American, the popular Jesse Bam Rodriguez, taking on the lesser known, boxing heads will know the name, Pumalele Cafu, coming from South Africa. He is also undefeated. He is also a world champion, and Cafu is no stranger with traveling to foreign lands and going in as the underdog and upsetting the odds. He did this once before to become a world champion, using a knockdown to help him win a very close, razor close split decision against Tanaka. So in this video, what we're going to do is take a look at both fighters. We're going to talk a little bit about how they go about their business. Stay tuned to the end of the video. Like always, that's where I'm going to be going over the current Las Vegas odds and be giving you my prediction and telling you where to put your money. All right, guys, boxing fans will know by now Bam Rodriguez. He is already at 25 years old, a two-weight world champion. He's won titles at 12. He's won titles at 15. And before Brian Norman Jr. became a champion at 47, Bam was the youngest world champion in boxing on the men's side. Personally, when I watch Bam Rodriguez, there is a lot to like about how he goes about his business. His southpaw aggressive style is fun to watch. He's always marauding on the front foot. He is a high-level operator, and he's an assassin in there. If you like the little things, angle changes, movements, setups, if you like a guy who could change pace with his punches within a combination, Bam Rodriguez is your guy. This is also a young man who's been tested before. He's been hit before, he's been dropped before, he's picked himself off at the canvas before, and he knows how to dig deep and win fights. This is important at the highest level. Cafu is a guy who's gonna present a nice challenge to Bam Rodriguez. I've been paying attention to the boxing forums, the boxing blogs. The odds have Cafu as a huge underdog. I'm starting to see some people think that he could go in there into Texas and spring the upset. I do want to mention, take this however you want to take it. Go to Bam's Box Rec right now. You're going to see the scheduled fight, which is taking place in a few days, versus Cafu, and also another scheduled fight. These fights are highlighted in yellow whenever they become official on Box Rec. That's against Puma in November, and that's the fight that everybody is super stoked about. Dare I say Bam should not look ahead. I don't like scheduling fights ahead of time. We talked about it with Caleb Plant in his camp more recently, looking ahead to Charlo. The whole card was built around that, and we saw what Resendez did, and he upset the odds makers. Can Cafu do the same this weekend in Texas? Only time will tell. Right now, I do want to take a closer look and remind everybody what's at stake this weekend in Texas. All right, guys, Jesse Bam Rodriguez is the WBC title holder and lineal champion at junior bantamweight, a pound-for-pound talent who is scheduled for two separate unification fights in 2025, like I talked about. This one this weekend against Cafu and another in November against Fernando Martinez. To firm up his claim to the throne, he needs to be victorious in both. He then could be headed toward dream matches at bantamweight and above. Guys, when I talk about Bam Rodriguez on my live streams, I always say that I feel personally we are looking at a future Hall of Famer at 25 years old. He is already a two-division world champion. He's won titles at 12. He's won titles at 15. There's exciting matchups at 18, possibly 22, depending on how he fills out his frame. We know he's not the biggest guy. He stands about 5'4", but he does all the things really well in the ring that you want to see from a guy who who is raising up and rising up in divisions the older he gets. Specifically, the technique and the precision and accuracy as a puncher, which then leads to power, which really helps guys move up in divisions and carry that power with them. Right now, let's take a closer look at Cafu and remind fans or educate fans on what to expect with his opponent. Guys, Pumalele Cafu is a 26-year-old South African who owns the WBO Junior Bantamweight World title. Cafu earned that title by fighting outside of his home country for the first time as a pro, traveling to Japan last October to challenge Keisei Tanaka as part of a 2-day extravaganza of title fights in Tokyo. Cafu won by the narrowest of split decisions, 2 judges seeing it 114 and 113 his way, the other giving Tanaka a 114-113 nod. Cafu's 5th round knockdown of Tanaka proved to be the difference. Cafu isn't the biggest name on this show. He's coming to Texas fully aware that Rodriguez is the star with all the buzz behind him and plenty of plans in front of him. But Cafu is used to upsetting the odds and defying expectations, something that predates the victory over Tanaka. Cafu's going into this fight feeling like the underdog. He is the underdog, feeling like he's been overlooked, and more importantly, he's coming in with a chip on his shoulder. Whenever you have a fight between 2 undefeated guys in their mid-20s who are also both world champions, you better believe this is going to be a slugfest. You better believe each guy is going to get the best version of their opponent. I do not expect Bam and his camp to look past Cafu. We know how high I am on Robert Garcia, what that means with his fighters always coming in prepared with a great game plan and his fighters executing that game plan. Right now, I do want to take a closer look at the South African and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Pumalele Cafu is 11-0 with 3 draws. He has 8 knockout victories out of 869 fighters in the world at 115 pounds. He is ranked number 6th. He's fought a total career of 85 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 73% career knockout to win ratio. He is the WBO World Super Flyweight Champion. His adoring fans know him as The Truth, and the 26-year-old Orthodox fighter is a South African fighter standing at 5'6" with a 64-inch reach. He was born and raised in Duncan Village, Eastern Cape, South Africa. We last saw him fight Keisei Tanaka, 20-1, split decision in the 12th. Steele, 6-4, stopped him in the 1st. Lebronta, 20-2, UD in the 10th. Chake, 22-1, won a split in the 12th. Namalambo, 9-3, stopped him in the 2nd. So like I said, Pumalele Cafu is not a household name. He is a world champion. And guys, the longer you're on my channel, the more you'll understand how much I like the lighter weight divisions, 115, 118, 122. We talked about some names. Bam is up there. And if Cafu could beat Bam, he's going to leapfrog Bam in terms of what's next. He becomes the unified world champion. He takes the hype from Bam Rodriguez, and he has the opportunity of a lifetime to do it. We know the king in the division above is Junto Nakatani, and the king of kings above him is Naoya Inoue. So whoever wins this fight, looking ahead, one being 25 in Bam, one being 26 in Cafu, puts themselves in a great position for future blockbuster world title fights. Right now, let's take a closer look at the undefeated American and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Jesse Rodriguez is 21-0 with 14 knockouts. Out of 869 fighters in the world at 115 pounds, he's ranked number 1. He's fought a total career of 113 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 67% career knockout to win ratio. He is the WBC World Super Flyweight Champion. His adoring fans know him as Bam, and the 25-year-old American is a southpaw standing at 5'4" with a 67-inch reach. He was born and raised in San Antonio, Texas, USA. We last saw him fight Pedro Guevara at 42-4, stopped him in the 3rd. Estrada, 44-3, stopped him in the 7th. Sonny Edwards, 20-0, stopped him in the 9th. Hernandez, 15-1, UD in the 12th. Gonzalez, 28-4, UD in the 12th. Guys, Bam Rodriguez is a joy to watch. If you're a fan of boxers who are technicians, you're going to like his style. If you're a fan of big punchers, guys who go for stoppages and are aggressive, Bam is going to be your guy. Once again, he does a lot of things really well. Like I said, from my perspective, being a guy who's been around boxing his whole life since I was a young kid, somebody who coaches the sport, Bam Rodriguez does things such as his angle changes, his footwork, how he works the body. Some of my favorite body punches in the entire sport come from Bam Rodriguez. Also, you can find world champions at the highest level, undefeated guys, who don't change up the speed of their punches, who don't mix up their tempo within combinations. Bam Rodriguez does that, and he does it really well. And when he starts cooking, the minute he starts seeing you fade, the minute he starts seeing you wilt, he turns it on another gear, and more likely than not, he's gonna get you out of there. Guys, when I look at them side by side, Cafu on paper is gonna be the little bit taller of the fighters, but Bam is gonna have a little longer reach. We're gonna have that classic southpaw versus orthodox style. A fight within the fight to pay attention to early on is that lead foot placement. The orthodox fighter in Cafu is going to want to keep his lead foot on the outside of Bam's lead foot in order to set his backhand up. But with Bam's movement, he's doing the same thing. He wants to keep his lead foot on the outside of Cafu's, and usually once they establish that small victory, they'll start setting up other things. The thing with Bam Rodriguez, though, he doesn't stay in front of you a lot, especially in the middle of the ring. When you do see him standing in front of you, it's probably not a good thing. That's when he has your back up against the ropes and he's forcing you to fight off of your back foot, and that's when Rodriguez becomes super dangerous. He works the body, he breaks you down to the body, then he finishes up top. He is there to get hit, but he is durable and he has confidence in his power. Guys, before I give you my money line prediction, I want to remind everybody that I do live streams every day on the channel. On those streams, that's when I give you my knockdown prop bets, my method of victory bets, my long parlays. So right now on this video, my stats don't lie videos, I only give you my money line prediction. So be sure to hit the bell notification button so you never miss a live stream. All right, guys, wherever you are in the world, let's pull out our betting apps. I live in Sydney, Australia, and the app that I use is called Sportsbet. On the money line, Bam Rodriguez is a big favorite. He's $1.05, meaning you put 100 on Bam to win, you get your money back plus $5. The draw is 25 to 1. Pumalela Cafu is at $12.50, meaning 100 on him, you get your money back plus 1,150. Is Cafu an 11 to 1 underdog? Is that fair? Is that too wide? Is that the better showing Cafu no respect? Maybe. Could Cafu go in there and upset and beat Bam? Maybe. When I look at this matchup and I read about each guy and I watch their film study and I watch the tape, I'm not talking any shade on Cafu, but maybe I'm just too high on Bam. Like I said, think when we watch Rodriguez, we're looking at one of the best in the sport. I'm not glazing the fighter. I'm not hyping him up. I'm not a fan of any one fighter. I'm a fan of the sport. And when I see a fighter go about their business like Rodriguez, what he does in the ring with his technique, how he executes a game plan, the killer instinct he has in there, and more importantly, his willingness to exchange and trade and end the show. Like I said, he's one of the most entertaining fighters to watch. So is the 11 to 1 odds too steep for Cafu? I don't think so. I think Bam Rodriguez is going to do what he wants in there. Some people are predicting it to be closer than the odds say. I actually don't. I think Rodriguez is going to shine. Every time I've seen him fight so far this in his career, I've never seen him really have a bad night. I expect him to continue to level up. I'm taking Bam on the money line. You don't have to agree with me in the comment section below. Who do you see winning this fight? Guys, stay tuned to my live stream though, because there are some excellent money opportunities in this fight if the $1.05 isn't enough juice for the squeeze. Not a lot of returns, but in those live streams, I'm going to tell you about some knockdown prop bets and some over and unders. What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's fight at 168 pounds between the undefeated rising contender Diego Pacheco and the seasoned, grizzled, hard-hitting veteran Trevor McCumby. Before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you also remember to like this video and go down to the bottom of your screen right now, find that bell notification button, click that so you never miss a video. All right, guys, a couple short announcements. I launched on our channel last week a Johnny Says Boxing Insider membership package. So if you're already a subscriber and you want to join that, you'll get exclusive perks like insights on our betting, insights on our parlays, our picks. You'll join our community. It's a couple bucks a month. There's a second level to that I launched as well, and that's where this video comes into play. In the second level, it's a couple bucks extra. You get all the level 1 perks, but with your level 2, every month you get to send me either a fight or an upcoming matchup or a specific fighter that you want me to feature on the channel based on who you like. So in this video, this shout out goes to Carlos, one of our level 2 Johnny Says Boxing insiders. And in this video, we're gonna break down Diego Pacheco versus Trevor McCumby. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go over both fighters' careers. I'm gonna talk a little bit about how they go about their business, each fighter's path to victory, and like always, stay tuned to the end of the video. That's where I'll be going over the current Las Vegas odds and be giving you my prediction and telling you where to put your money. Right, guys, every now and then a fighter breaks through to the mainstream after a big fight in which they lost, not in which they won. And in steps Trevor McCumby, the 32-year-old Arizonian. We last saw him fight Caleb Plant. When that fight took place, we saw an all-out brawl. McCumby came in huge underdog. He came in aggressive. He buzzed Plant early. He dropped Plant, and people were kind of on the edges of their seats watching this unfold. As the fight played out, Caleb recovered and eventually stopped Trevor McCumby. But it was in that fight where people were like, all right, maybe that record of McCumby's, maybe that knockout to win ratio, maybe those hands of his are actually all legit. Hey, I want to see him again. Now, in steps Diego Pacheco. We last saw Diego, the 24-year-old from the Pacific Northwest, undefeated, also has power in his hands. We last saw him fight stablemate of Terrence Crawford, Steven So-Called Nelson, in a 12-round decision. Personally, I learned a lot about Diego in that fight. I'm sure that his camp and himself took a lot from fighting an undefeated veteran in Steven Nelson. And with the belts at 168 held up like they've been for a while by Canelo Alvarez, we'll see if a movement happens after his fight with Bud. This matchup between Diego and McCumby proves to be, for the winner, an opportunity at least at a potential title eliminator fight. So right now I want to remind everybody what's at stake going into this weekend in Frisco, Texas. Guys, when Trevor McCumby buzzed Caleb Plant late in the second round of his last fight and later recorded a 4th round knockdown against the former IBF super middleweight champion, people were thinking, well, McCumby might be legit. Pushing Plant legitimized McCumby to an extent, yet the heavy-handed veteran from Glendale, Arizona realizes he still needs to make believers out of cynics Saturday night who think he is a limited power puncher. I think it's a great fight for me, said McCumby. It's better fight stylistically for me than even my last fight against Plant, and I'm going to come out and really show the world my speed and power and that I'm not one-dimensional. Pacheco, on the other hand, picked McCumby after the LA native and his team determined he wasn't offered enough money to travel to Quebec, Canada to face Montreal-based Christian Mabili in an interim title fight. Mabili is the ring's #1 contender to Alvarez, who owns the ring, IBF, WBA, WBC, and WBO 168-pound crowns. Guys, this fight is on the undercard of Bam versus Cafu. A lot of eyes are going to be on this fight. A lot of questions will be answered regarding Diego Pacheco and Trevor McCumby. So I'm really excited about this fight. One more shout out to Carlos for assisting, asking, and picking this fight on his membership. Right now, I want to take a closer look at Trevor McCumby and see what he's been up to in his career. As McCumby's 28-1 with 21 knockouts out of 1,792 fighters in the world. At 168 pounds, he's ranked number 78. He's fought a career total of 104 pro rounds and has a 75% career knockout to win ratio. The 32-year-old American is a 6-foot orthodox fighter with a 74-inch reach. He was born in Yorkville, Illinois, but calls Glendale, Arizona, USA home. We last saw him fight Caleb Plant, 22-2. He got stopped in the 9th. Pearson, 17-3, won a UD in the 10th. Martinez, 44-10, won a knockout in the 1st. Rodriguez, 41-13, stopped him in the 5th. Romero, 20-15, won a UD in the 8th. So the only time McCumby has stepped up in his career, it was his last fight. He got stopped against Plant. At 32 years old, people understand, he understands, it's now or never. If he goes in against Pacheco, a 24-year-old on the rise, and doesn't come out victorious, he's going to really be left thinking, where does his career go from here? So it's an understatement to say that McCumby is going to be anything less than prepared come fight night. His advantages in his head are going to be in the pocket. He thinks that he's going to stay there. He thinks he's going to have the power, and his durability will be too much for Diego Pacheco. All those things I just said will be tested. That's why we'll be tuning in. Let's take a look at the 24-year-old and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Pacheco's 23-0 with 18 knockouts out of 1,792 fighters in the world at 168 pounds. He's ranked number 7. He's fought a career total of 104 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 78% career knockout to win ratio. The 24-year-old American is a 6'4" orthodox fighter with a 79 inch reach. He was born in Los Angeles, California, but calls Renton, Washington, USA home. We last saw him fight Steven Nelson, 20-0, UD in the 12th. Sulecki, 32-2, won a knockout in the 6th. McCalman, 15-0, UD in the 10th. Caceres, 32-5, stopped him in the 9th. Gallegos, 20-1, stopped him in the 4th. Guys, Diego Pacheco, in my opinion, has already stepped up. I like at 24 years old how his team has moved him. The Manny Gallegos fight, he stopped him. It wasn't that long ago we were high on Manny. Manny stopped Khalil Ko, and going into that fight, Manny was picked by a lot of people to beat Khalil Ko. Khalil Ko got his get back. Then after that fight, he fought Sulecki, stopped him. We just saw Sulecki recently on the channel, and he's coming off a victory. And then he steps up to fight an undefeated Steven Nelson and beats him by decision. Guys, at 24 years old, the future is bright for the young American. He's tall, he's long, he likes to exchange, and with both guys coming in with over 75% career knockout to win ratio, I expect fireworks. When I put both guys side by side, Diego's going to have youth on his side. He's going to have the height advantage. He's going to have the reach advantage. Right now, people are giving McCumby the power advantage, but I'm not so quick to limit Diego's power based on statistics and based on what people say about McCumby. I'm going to wait until the fight plays out. Diego will give McCumby his wish and fight him in the middle. If Diego wants to, he could fight him at range. He's going to have the longer reach. He could use his jab if he wants to. I think in terms of a path to victory, Pacheco has more on the drawing board. I don't think that that's a shocking statement. And regarding my bet, before we go over those Las Vegas odds, I do want to remind everybody, I go live on the channel every single day, and in those live streams, we talk about our long parlays, our upset alert picks, our prop bets, over and unders, and knockdown props. On this video, on all my Stats Don't Lie edited videos, you're only getting my money line. All right, guys, let's pull our sports betting apps out right now. The app I use in Sydney, Australia is called Sports Bet. And currently on the money line, Diego Pacheco is a $7 favorite, meaning you put 100 on him, you get $7 in return. The draw is 25-1. McCumby is a $10 underdog, 100 on him, you get your money back plus $900. McCumby's a big underdog. He has what you call a puncher's chance. In terms of betting, safe bets, if the $7 isn't worth the squeeze for your parlay taking Diego, stay tuned because there is an excellent knockdown prop in this fight that I'm going to go over on our live streams that I think I'm going to go heavy on. For my pick, I feel Diego is going to remain undefeated. I think his energy, his youth, his range, his distance, his power, all of it, his arsenal is going to be too much for Trevor McCumby. Guys, this is not an echo chamber. In the comment section below, let me know how you see this one playing out. Do you think it's going to be Pacheco, business as usual? Or do you think the veteran McCumby is going to open more eyes and impress people and come out